I get where this could help if somebody was bit, and maybe it makes it easier to get the funds to, to recoup the injury costs or a suit. I don't see how this helps change the behavior of the dog. I guess I need to make, so I don't know. I worry about the precedent. I don't understand what it does for, for the dog, but I certainly understand that it makes it easier for somebody to recover the money.
I'd like to recognize Tim, if I might, our town administrator.
Yeah, thank
Tim
you,
Goddard.
Madam Chair. The Topels are here with their attorney. They do have a letter from the town stating that the hearing was at 8:30. I'm not aware of how that, evidently that's a typographical error.
Okay.
I guess I'd ask town council where the hearing is closed. What is our remedy at this point? That the notice was effective in some respect to the dog owners.
You can, I think you can reopen it.
Say it again, Jenny.
I think you can reopen the hearing. You haven't made a decision.
Okay, excuse me, hang on one second. I'm the chair of the board, and our rules are that you need to be recognized by the chair if you want to speak, but we are considering reopening the hearing, so just hold on, okay? And we'll get to that shortly, I think. So are we comfortable reopening the hearing?
Of course.
Yes, okay. So I think I need a formal motion to do that.
We reopen the hearing.
Is there a second? All right, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. So I would like to recognize the Topel family, and I understand you have legal counsel here with you. So who would like to offer testimony? And the way we'd like to do this is to have you come up to the podium so you can be heard by those that are joining us remotely, and state your name, and in your case, sir, if you tell us your law firm and that you're representing the Topels. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, good evening. We're starting early. My name is Jeremy Cohen. My law firm is Boston Dog Lawyers, and I represent the Topels. So now,
excuse me, Jeremy, can you say that again, Jeremy? What's your last name?
Cohen, and I've already notified the town that I'm involved.
Okay,
and
great.
My law firm is Boston Dog Lawyers.
Thank you.
So I have a notice for 8:30. I also got it direct from the town that the notice was 8:30. My clients had a notice for 8:30. Have you already taken testimony in this matter?
We have.
And why is that?
Well, because we had the
hearing
notice.
was on the agenda for 7:30.
Yeah, we had posted it on our.
I do acknowledge the letter that Mr. Topel has says 8:30.
I see. So that was an error. Yeah,
that was an error.
by open meeting law, we post our agendas within 48 business hours before the meeting, and it was posted to begin at 7:30. So I did know, because Mr. Goddard had told me that there was legal representation that would join us. But I guess there's been a tremendous misunderstanding about the start time of the hearing.
So I just have a few questions.
Yeah.
Well, there's no confusion on my part, right? At the start of the hearing, because I got the letter direct from the town. A guy named Stoddard.
You think Goddard, maybe. That's Mr. Tim Goddard here, our town administrator.
So
yes.
We've emailed. Then, so my question is, did anybody provide testimony from?
Yes, we heard from our animal control officer, Mr. Gene Delano, who's behind you, and from Justin Neal, who's the complainant. And he offered his testimony remotely.
Okay, so.
So we've taken that testimony, and then we asked for additional testimony, and there was none. So then we closed the hearing and have started our deliberations.
Okay.
We had already, I'll just tell you this directly, we had already concluded that after our deliberations and from the testimony we heard that this was a dangerous dog, and we were beginning to discuss the remedies according to the state statute.
Okay. Thank you for that information. So how are you going to fix this so that we have a fair hearing, so that I know what Mr. Neal, if he's still on, had to say? Because this isn't fair. This isn't right. I'm here to make sure that we do it the right way and you get to the right decision the right way. So you made a mistake. How are you going to fix this?
You know what, excuse me,
No.
I want to make it very clear to you that we have no interest in being unfair to anyone,
Okay,
all right? And it would be much more helpful if we approach this cooperatively,
Okay.
because our job
okay,
is to be responsible to both the dog owners and to the complainant. So what I suggest is, while it's unfortunate, because I know people have spent time to try to be here, as I think what we need to do is reschedule the hearing for another date, yeah, because we can't ask, Mr. Neal is no longer on the call, and we have an agenda that we've already posted for tonight.
okay.
And so I apologize, I know it's very inconvenient, but I think in order to be fair to you, as you're asking, and fair to the previous people that have offered testimony, that's the best way we should approach it.
Okay. Let me think about this
Excuse
for
me
1
one
second.
second. Excuse me 1 second. I just want to check in with the rest of the board. Does anybody have a different opinion about that? Or Ms. Merrill, who is our town council, is also on the call. Do you have a different suggestion for how we should approach this, or does it make sense to reschedule the hearing?
I think whatever suits the board. I mean, you can also provide the testimony that's been provided is actually was the same that was in writing, I think, to the board. But whatever, if whatever seems most fair to all parties is.
So just to make it clear to everyone, so the letter that we received, or the board received from Mr. Neal, you have a copy of that too, the email correspondence he sent to the select board? Yeah. Yeah, okay. And that is the testimony that then he offered publicly this evening. I think you had some interaction with the animal control officer, Mr. Lano. Yeah. And what he did is he reviewed the 2 incidents and the quarantine notices that were issued, and then the temporary restraining order that was issued. So there was no other testimony offered by another party.
Okay.
So that's what we've heard. And if you are comfortable with us reopening the hearing and then offering your testimony, then we'll close the hearing. We may or may not be able to do our deliberations tonight, but we could at least hear your testimony.
Okay.
Would that be acceptable? Does that work for?
I'm going to meet with my folks outside just for 2 minutes, not going to hold you up. So a couple of questions. Are you saying that he read off his email? Oh, he read it.
Well, it was, I mean, it was virtually the same as his email.
Okay.
He offered.
You could read along.
Okay.
As he was talking, you could read along. It was
Right.
almost word for word.
He did say something at the beginning, which probably would have been good for you all to hear, about how difficult this was to make this statement, and that he knew it was going to be,
Okay.
probably affect the relationship that he had with you all, where you were living on the same street, and he was really sorry about that.
So
So,
did he offer any pictures, any bills?
no bills, but we do have pictures, which I think you may have seen as well. The pictures of the bites to his hand and then to his dogs, and then the notification of the Emerson Hospital visit. And who is it that you have with you? Is this an associate? Leah Kim,
So,
okay,
can
hi.
Couple of questions for the board. Is his testimony recorded?
Yes, it is.
And if we reopen and we go, then is he going to complain that he didn't get, I mean, it's not like he can ask questions of us, right? So.
No, but he could come back and offer additional
Mr. Neal
testimony.
is on the call.
Oh, he is on the call.
He is on the call.
Oh, okay.
My concern is through the board that I understand I can't cross-examine him, but I wasn't able to ask the board to pursue any questions with him that I might have had relative to his testimony. So how about if we take a short break? I talk to my clients and we'll come back in.
Yeah,
Okay,
I just
thank
want to
you.
clarify, and maybe Ms. Merrill, you could respond. I don't believe that the hearing is intended for you to have an opportunity to cross-examine, as you said just now, someone else offering testimony. Is that correct?
That's right, but he mentioned that he might ask you to ask him questions.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's acceptable.
Mhm.
Okay, good. Just wanted that to be clear.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. We'll be right back.
sure.
Reopening the public hearing?
Okay, so have we voted to reopen the hearing?
No,
Did we finish that?
I thought we did, but I can do it again.
Hold on a second, did we,
we haven't seen.
but wait, don't we have to reopen the hearing first?
We did.
You did do
We
that.
did do that.
That's what I thought.
Okay, I thought we did as well. All right, so, Mr. Levin, I need to, ask you to, sorry, Cohen, my apologies. I need to ask you to, to be sworn in, and you probably know this, but it's I, and your name, promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Okay, so a couple of things. I'm not a witness, so I can't be sworn in. The lawyers are not sworn in at these hearings. And I'm not going to be converted to a witness because that would disqualify me down the road if we had to go to court. Your counsel knows that. Then,
Excuse me, let me just confirm that with our counsel. Thanks. Is that correct,
Yeah,
Ms. Carroll?
that's fine, yes.
Okay, all right.
but to that end, we will put on our part of the hearing this evening after talking to my clients. And to do that, the plan is to give you a brief overview. At the same time, I just have to note for the record that our letter said 8:30 and you started at 7:30. But the intent's not to appeal, it's to get this done tonight, to show you the evidence we have. So if we can go right into, if you want to swear witnesses who will come up, but I'm just going to give a brief opening statement.
Yeah, that'd be fine, to go ahead and offer your statement. I mentioned to the Topals while you're out of the room that if they wanted to
Okay.
offer testimony, they
Thank
could then follow you.
All right. Thank you. Not every board would respond this way, so sometimes you have to come on strong to make sure that the hearing is held right. I appreciate you doing that. So I'm here to represent the Topals because I've known them for a long time. I've known Joe for a long time, and I've had a chance to look at everything that you've had a chance to look at, plus more that I'll share with you. So I understand that you may have already come to a conclusion based on one side of the evidence of why you have a dangerous dog here. But by the time we're done, I think this should be dismissed. And I'm going to show you why. At the worst, this dog is a nuisance. And what we have are two incidents where Justin says that in the first incident, you'll hear from our folks who, our dog got out, okay? But Justin, he walks past this house, twice a day for the last, 2.5 years at least, since Dexter's been with us. And the facts do not support a dangerous dog finding. Let's just go right there. This dog, you may have been told that this dog has bitten humans twice. So we see in the record that he says bites to humans and people. There was no human aggression.
Well, hold on.
To this.
Let me just clarify something. What Mr. Neal offered in his testimony was that he had been bitten, and that's what the pictures show. This is during one incident, and his dog was bitten during that same incident, and then the second incident, his dog was bitten and requiring, care by a vet. So let's just see, be helpful, I think, if you would just walk through
Okay.
what you want to offer as, what you think happened and why
But you
you
can
think
see-
it's not a dangerous dog.
You can see my sense of a disadvantage because here I'm trying to respond to what he said, but
Well, again,
I'll try to
we
keep
could-
it to what we
could
want
do
to say.
it differently, and close the
This
hearing
works.
and, all right, so let's move ahead then.
So there's been no human aggression here. In either of the incidents, a human was never the intended target. And we see that in the puncture that is on his hand. Both incidents are isolated to one dog that belongs to Mr. Neal. And my clients have been compliant with the restraining orders that have been put in place. And you've never heard a previous complaint about Dexter, and you've never heard any other complaints since the restraining orders have been put in. It's all targeted to this one owner and his dogs. And these were not attacks. In reading the statement that these were two vicious attacks, first off, neither your bylaw nor the state law defines the word vicious. So however Mr. Neal chooses to define the word, it's not, that definition is not appropriate here. These were approaches, these were not attacks. Again, you're hearing from somebody who's a pet owner, but he's not in a position to tell you the scope of these bites. In the first instance, to break up a dog fight, he put his hand in the dog's mouth. He told that to my client. So our dog approaches his dog, and there's an incident, but he puts his hand in our dog's mouth to get his dog free. So amazingly, Dexter doesn't chomp on his hand. He doesn't bite his hand. He cuts his hand when he's withdrawing his hand from Dexter's mouth. So here's Dexter. If he could talk right now, he'd say, wait a second. He's going to blame me for that? He's going to say that I was bit? Because it wasn't a dog bite. And when you decide to impose yourself, and pet owners do this, it's wrong, but to break up a dog fight, that's an incidental bite. That is not a sign of aggression, and that wasn't a bite. If it was a bite, we would see on both sides of his hand, if the hand was in his mouth, we'd see teeth marks on both sides. This was not a bite.
Well, again, that's, we're not trying to take medical testimony here, so I think you should just continue and with your points about what else you think happened or how you're interpreting what happened.
Then, his testimony, Justice, is that he dragged Dexter and his two dogs up to my client's house, yet this dangerous dog didn't bite him, didn't bite his other dogs. Somehow his other dogs didn't attack our dog, and he was treated by Mr. Topol. In that instance, if I'm contending, if Justin responds differently, if he doesn't put his hand in the dog's mouth, this whole thing doesn't happen. This was not a dog bite of any value. What was the vet bill? Less than $100. I mean, Justin complained that he was in a hospital for an afternoon. If you're bitten by a dangerous dog, an afternoon, you're going to be there overnight. Okay, so again, I'm concerned that there really weren't pictures provided to me from incident one or bills. So this is the first I'm seeing of his hand, I believe. So I had asked in advance that there be no surprises, that I have everything in advance to review it, because I would have a bite expert have looked at that picture to tell me exactly what happened. So my concern is he's on Zoom, which means you had these already, and I haven't got a chance to look at them, but I'll move on.
Are you saying you want to continue, or are you saying you want to go forward now? Well, if you keep throwing it out there as that it's unfair.
Yeah, so we're more than happy to start over again. I mean, I wouldn't say we're more than happy, but we are very willing to do that. And while I know it would be difficult for Mr. Neal as well as yourselves to come back, we are more than happy to do that. It's not going to be very productive to go through.
Yeah, and me
You're
just
saying the whole time, well, I haven't had a chance to do this
Okay.
or
We
that.
either need
and
to
I
move
didn't.
past that, or we need to reset.
Yeah.
You know?
I would like to reset. Okay? Because I can see my attitude is just going to be, I didn't see
Yeah,
this,
I
so you're right.
understand.
So how
Right,
about if
so-
we
We
move
want
to,
to get to a
Yes.
good solution for everybody, okay?
Let's-
So we just
thank
have
you.
to have the right,
Okay.
let's have the right approach.
okay,
Yeah, so we can put this on our agenda for 2 weeks from now, I believe, Tim.
We'll all agree right now as to what time.
Yeah, and so,
We've got a tax classification hearing that's been advertised already for 7:30, so I wouldn't,
Let's not make it 7:30, that didn't work out well.
yeah,
so,
8 o'clock would be safe, or 8:30 would be safe.
okay,
But we can't do 7:30 because it's already booked.
yeah, so we have already scheduled a tax classification hearing for 7:30 in 2 weeks, but what if we, you're confident that we could say 8 o'clock and that would work?
I am confident.
Okay, so,
Before you,
excuse me, Nathan? I'm sorry. Oh, okay, so if that
Can
works.
I give a suggestion that might work? Excuse me.
Yes.
You
Debbie.
could continue the hearing and allow, which would allow the Topals and their attorney to, review the video of the testimony and maybe reduce, the amount of time spent duplicating that.
That would be.
That would,
Yeah, would that work for you?
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah,
that.
good suggestion, Ms. Merrill, thank you. All right, so we will make a motion to continue this hearing to November 23rd at 8 PM, back in the same room. Mr. Neal, I know you're still on the call. Is that acceptable to you to return? And again, we'll make sure that the recording of your testimony is made available to the Topels and their lawyer, and as well as the pictures.
I'm not sure whether I'm available at that time, but I do want to point out that I am not on trial here, and I feel already as though this gentleman is trying to make me out to be untruthful. And not only that, but I feel as though I'm being attacked. So I think that the gentleman's line of approach is very inappropriate for this particular hearing, as opposed to trial.
Yeah, well, let me just step in here as the chair and ask that we not discuss this particular thing further. Mr. Neal, why don't you notify Mr. Goddard, our town administrator, as soon as you can about your availability for the 23rd.
Or we could push it to
And we could push it into December if we needed to. Now, that does mean that the restraining order stays in place until we do have the dog hearing, which I understand, adds quite a bit of time. But so that's what I guess we have to decide. Do we have to decide tonight? Yeah, we have to continue the hearing to a specific day, right?
I move that we continue the hearing to November 23rd at 8 o'clock. We continue it there if we have to.
Okay, and we can
Is the
continue.
understanding, I'm not following that. So if Mr. Neal at a later date determines he can't attend, can we
Well, we
not
have his-
move? Does the Topels and their attorney have to show up just for the purpose of being told to show up yet again?
Not if we agree to it all.
Well, I know, but I'm trying to understand the envelope of what we have available to us. We cannot schedule this, we have to schedule the hearing in a public meeting?
Yes.
Because it's being continued.
So again, I gotta ask the question. If sometime between now and next time, Mr. Neal determines he cannot attend that meeting, what do we do
Hopefully,
table on that day?
hopefully he determines that he cannot come in enough time to notify us so that we can notify the other parties, and that we then open and close, or open and continue
Continue
the
the
meeting
hearing
at
to the
another time that would then be mutually
Okay.
acceptable.
Okay, fair.
So, is everybody following that? So if it turns out that Mr. Neal can't make it on the 23rd, and we know ahead of time, then what will happen is we'll let you know, and then when it comes to that point on our agenda, we will just continue the hearing to the next available select board meeting.
May I ask, is there a time by which he can let you know so we would know?
I think that would be,
Ask
Yeah.
Mr. Neal, is
ask
okay.
Mr. Neal, if he knows when he can let us know.
Yeah, Mr. Neal, is it possible to let us know in, say, the next couple of days?
I'll try and confirm it to you this week.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. We'll.
We have a motion on the table. have
Yeah,
to
you
vote it.
put a motion on the
Put a motion on the
table.
table.
We've got a second. All right, any more discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, all right, so that's the plan. We will continue this hearing to November 23rd at 8 PM. Thank you all.